Welcome to the fourth video of my History of the Model S series. I hope you're sitting comfortably because this video will go over the evolution of the Model S seats. So it only makes sense to start from the start with the first Model S's that were delivered, which were the Founders and Signature series. Alongside a dark red color named Signature Red, the people who ordered the first batch of Founders and Signature series Model S were able to order white leather perforated seats. As you can tell, the white leather perforated seats are pretty nice, but I really do prefer the latest, the newest white Model S seats, which I'll get into. If you didn't have a reservation for the Founders or Signature series Model S, the standard interior was a black leatherette cloth mix with optional black, tan, or gray interior. If you opted for a performance car, so a P85 or a P85 Plus at the time, you could choose a performance seat which had red piping around the seats with Alcantara bolsters. And all these seats, whether white, standard, black, tan, gray, or performance, are known as the first gen seats or Gen 1 seats. You could tell a Gen 1 seat apart from the others because the two front seats have a little compartment in the front where you could put a phone or a wallet or keys or something small like that. The padding of the seats were somewhat lackluster, and the rear seats had small headrests which improved visibility, but I've seen many comments that they just weren't that comfortable. As 2014 was coming to an end, the seats got a refresh. Depending on who you ask, these new seats are called Gen 2 seats or Gen 1.5 because it's a little bit more of a refresh and not a totally new seat. This refresh kept the two little pockets in the front seats and added bigger headrests and bolsters both in the front and back. And if you have a great memory and or saw my recent video on all the trims of the Model S, you'll know that it was in late 2014 that they introduced the new dual motor cars. And I'm sure, as we all know, dual motor opened up a world of acceleration where the seats needed a little more padding to keep people in place while driving. So they did just that. The third generation seats, or as they're commonly referred to as the next gen seats, were first introduced to the P85D models. These seats lost the little compartment at the front of the seats, but they provided much bigger bolsters and headrests to protect against whiplash, both in the front and the back of the car. However, the exclusivity didn't last for long because in March of 2015, the next gen seats were available to all trims. And the performance seats that I mentioned earlier with the red piping and the Alcantara, they were discontinued right along when the next gen seats came along. And right as the next gen seats were made available to all models, they actually changed the rear seats back to the Gen 2 seats or Gen 1.5 seats because there were a lot of complaints that the bolsters were too tight and that people just preferred more a bench-like seat in the back. The next gen seats didn't last too long though, however, because in August of 2016, the performance trims of the Model S received a new seating choice called premium seats, which were offered in white, tan, or black, and they were perforated, ventilated with adjustable headrests. These seats were essentially from the Model X that was new at the time. And just like the next gen seats, the premium seats were later made available for all the models. Now, due to somewhat subpar quality in the ventilated seats, Tesla discontinued the ventilated seats in January of 2017. So they were still the premium seats, they just didn't have ventilation. And in August of the same year, the rear seats were changed just a little. As you can see, the new rear seating arrangement is more like 3 separate seats rather than one large bench. Fast forward a little, Tesla released a new seat color, which we haven't seen in quite a while, and it is the cream interior. So the cream replaced the tan interior, and it was a little bit of a hybrid between the white and the tan. It was like a light sand, a cream almost, you could say. I honestly think the cream interior with a blue exterior is a killer choice. And finally, in December of 2019, the Model S seats were slightly altered to be a little thinner than the premium seats from before. And you'll have to forgive me because I'm pretty sure they brought back ventilated seats at some point, and maybe it was just for the performance cars, but I couldn't find anything. But just know that the seats currently are not ventilated. So as it stands, you can currently order your Model S with white, black, or cream seats, and they are the updated, slimmer premium seats. There are two more things I'd like to cover regarding the seats, and those are the executive rear seats and the third row rear-facing jump seats. The executive rear seats, or the ERS, was an option added to the Model S in January of 2015. These seats customize the rear cabin area of the Model S with private, comfortable seating, so you can tell there's only two, making the Model S a four-seater, but they were wrapped in leather and included two-zone heaters. There was also a center console which offered some hidden storage separate from the seats, which was pretty nice. However, one big drawback is that these seats were fixed in place, so you couldn't fold them down to get extra storage, you couldn't adjust them if you were uncomfy. And so I think because of that, this option wasn't too popular in North America and was discontinued only 6 months later. I personally have only seen one car in person with the executive rear seats. I think they look great, however, just the fact that you can't fold them down is a huge disadvantage. And lastly, there were the third row rear facing jump seats. Of course, these seats were pretty small, so the range of people that could sit in these were fairly limited. I mean, they were basically just made for kids. Tesla discontinued these seats some time ago, but don't worry because they might just be back, according to Elon in this tweet. So that wraps up all the changes that the Model S seats have seen over the years. I hope you're as excited as I was when I did the research, finding out all these changes in the seats. It seems kind of trivial, like just seats, but I think it's really interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.